So I asked the question, the hottest of hot or the coldest of cold, what is the better extreme temperature? I gotta say, from many, you think of the cold weather experiences that you've had, cold weather, definitely a problem, definitely gotta bundle up or whatever, but I feel like there's also a warmth, if you will, about it. The coldest of cold, you've got the holiday months usually, and it could actually be a cozy experience. But the hottest of hot, I don't know, like these heat waves, I don't enjoy them. And one could say, well, if you had a rockin' body and 8-pack abs, would you love a heat wave? And then I started to think, not really then too, because the thing about the heat versus the cold, and we're talking about not like middle of the road, we're talking about like, oh, this is excruciating in terms of the heat, this is excruciating in terms of the cold. I always got to say, go with the cold, because as long as you prepare and kind of do it right and maybe limit or change your activity, you're going to be okay. In terms of your work, you get to your work, you do what you do, you just prepare for more of a holiday and wintry season. The summer, here's my problem with the hottest of hots. To me, warmth and sunshine and all that beautiful, amazing stuff, it's very vacation driven, right? So like, I feel like you get too lackadaisical when it's super warm, or even just like regular, nice, warm weather. I always look at it as like warm weather is, I think, fun and you should go enjoy, but if it's always blazing hot, does that impede on your productivity? But then I guess one person could say, well, isn't it the other way around? It's blistering cold and snowing and all these things, and you don't want to do anything as well. But I don't know. I feel like the seasonal shift of the cold, though it could suck, it's never as bad as the hot heat. But again, I'm welcome to be wrong in terms of if there's somebody who's like, you know what? I love the hot weather because then I get to like show off my sexy abs and I get to like jog, along the beach. Like, I don't know, maybe people really like the hot weather. But I tell you, don't love the cold, but I get real grumpy with the hot weather. So that's the question, the hottest of hot or the coldest of cold. Now, I was talking to my podcast co-host about this, Kelly, and I was like, what would you choose, the hottest of hot or the coldest of cold? And she goes, I like somewhere in the middle. I'm like, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about these extreme different sides of the weather, which one is ultimately more doable and more likable. And I gotta say, even though warmth and sun is amazing, I feel like it's more something that should be dipped in and out of. And I also don't really, here's another one. You hear people talk about like Seattle in this regard. They're like, oh, Seattle, it's raining. It must be like a gloomy feel. No, I don't think it is. I've not really been to Seattle, but I don't think it is. And you think of like, oh, the cold, the snowing, like it's gloomy. It's, you sort of get the seasonal depression. And yes. But I also feel like there's ways to suffice the cold. I really do. Hibernation vibes, you're hibernating. But the hottest of hot, I'm like, oh my God, this is too hot. This is too damn hot. Is sort of what I think. I don't know. Hottest of hot or coldest of cold, which is more doable? If it's so hot and it's muggy and it's humid, I'm like, okay, cool. All I got to do is go and do a little vacation, and then it would work. But outside of that, I don't like it on the regular,